Welcome back to another Experts in AI video here at the AI Summit in New York. I'm joined by Riddhiman, the CEO of TripleBlind. Das, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So talk to us a little bit about what you guys do here at TripleBlind.
So TripleBlind enables collaboration around private and sensitive data. So in the last 5 years alone, we've had over 100 privacy regulations emerge. On top of that, there are competitive concerns. There are concerns around freely sharing data in a way that it might be compromised or abused or leaked or breached. So what TripleBlind enables is a whole suite of collaboration tools that allow utilization of data that is private in a way that does not require the data to be shared. Only the outputs are shared, and so you get the benefit of the data without ever needing to potentially put it in a point of compromise.
So Das, on that, one thing I noted when looking up, who you are and what your team are, you've received some support from Mayo Clinic in the healthcare sector, and privacy is something that's really taking a focus in this space, among others. And I wanted to gauge with you how important AI is in terms of protecting privacy in that particular space.
Absolutely. So AI is obviously taking off in the world of medicine, right? And what we believe is that any significant progress in technology and AI in the healthcare sector will require close collaboration between private entities as well as healthcare providers. It is not going to be the move fast and break things style approach. So from that perspective, we're really excited about the partnership with Mayo Clinic, because Mayo Clinic is the global leader in the development of novel medicine technologies using AI. Now, on top of that, in the development of AI, it is actually very, very, very important that you protect patient privacy, both from the training data perspective as well as from the eventual model perspective. The training data is important because you don't want to be able to identify someone who may have a disease condition and potentially reveal that to the world, right? In the financial services industry, reparations are possible, right? If it leaks that, if there's a data breach, it can be attempted to be fixed. Whereas if it leaks that Das has a particular disease condition, no amount of monetary compensation can make that right? Now, from the other sense, once you have trained a model, it is actually very important that you're able to protect the training data that was used to train that model. Because what might happen is we're seeing well-known attacks on AI models that leak the original training data. So even the model can be a potential source of data leakage. So in that case, TripleBlind protects obviously the training data while keeping the data usable for the purposes of training a new algorithm, but then also protects the eventual algorithm from two things. One, leaking patient data, and number two, leaking anything about the intellectual property of the algorithm. So that is a novel invention as well, which is how do you encrypt your algorithm so that you can license it around the world without fears of IP leakage or theft.
Well, IP is one of my favorite things. I spent 3 years writing about it, so I'm glad you've got that covered as well. I want to talk a little bit about the team, what you've worked on this week, because you've had a pretty busy week, right?
Right.
You launched an update to your solution. Talk us through a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So we started with the ability to train algorithms, AI algorithms, and the ability to run inferences from those algorithms using novel cryptography and privacy techniques. The update we just announced is an entire suite of private data sharing solutions, all the way from running computations on data that you never want to see, never want to take possessions of, to pre-processing, to protecting the model. So it is an expanded ability where TripleBlind is now an end-to-end solution for utilizing and collaborating around private and sensitive data. So I'm really excited about it, because what this means is that from supporting Python and R to all types of tools and integrations, you can now pre-process data, you can understand the size, shape, distribution of the data, you can understand, you can look at a fictitious sample of the data, synthetic data, to look at what the data looks like, but then eventually run your computations on the actual data. So you do not have to sacrifice accuracy just because you're using privacy.
So let's talk about that a little bit. How important are those changes in that update on the privacy side? Because everyone at the show is talking about responsible AI and privacy. We have a responsible AI track here at the event. How important is it, the changes that you guys specifically made in that product update? Absolutely,
that is a very relevant question, because historically the way we've seen data attempted to be kept private is using techniques like differential privacy and synthetic data. What they do is they alter the data to keep it private, right? So therefore, any utilization of that data will yield altered results, right? So you are sacrificing accuracy to protect privacy. So the newest update we released is a combination of several techniques that have come together, and what they enable is a data scientist to first use all of the state-of-the-art tools, including synthetic data, to be able to understand and get their hands around what the model is supposed to be doing, or how to approach the modeling task. But then when you actually start using the modeling or the analytics or the reporting capabilities, you end up doing those processes on actual data that is encrypted in a way that is never able to be decrypted. It is never decrypted, and TripleBlind is obviously not a trusted third party enabling this to occur. So what this means is now that a data scientist can not just run computations on data, but also understand the data that they're working with, get a very tangible feel for what the data is like, and then all the way to now deployment, meaning end users adopting the AI model is now possible through the TripleBlind tool suite.
Thanks, Daz. And just finally, you've made this update, it's December. What can we expect from you and the team at TripleBlind going into 2022?
Absolutely. So in 2022, we're really focused on financial services and healthcare.
Okay.
In healthcare, we're enabling the development of novel AI algorithms, drug discovery, expedited clinical trials, as well as real-world evidence, where such data are impossible to be able to be aggregated in one physical location because of the limitations posed by privacy regulation. So those are really high-value projects that we're embarking on that I expect to be doing more and more of in 2022 in the healthcare world. In the financial services world, we're enabling rapid innovation with big banks and credit bureaus working with novel fintech companies in a way that does not risk a potential data breach, and more importantly, does not risk any data abuse by the fintech partner. So partnerships that used to take 9 months, 12 months can now happen in a matter of a couple of weeks. And so that would really expedite the development and the innovation in the fintech sector. And on top of that, we've got alternative data sources. So we've recently seen several high-profile breach of contract of providers that are using their data to inform macro market decisions, right? So in those cases, it has now become imperative that you protect the consumer privacy as well as you adhere to the rules governing the fair utilization of that data. So we're very excited to dive into all of those use cases.
Well, we look forward to keeping an eye on them in next year, and hopefully see you back this time next year.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.